Today's Steelers Talk video is sponsored by Hexclad. Go to hexclad.com/chatsports for 10% off some really premium cookware today. Now, on today's edition of Steelers Talk, we're going to be discussing the updated playoff path for the Steelers here throughout the final 4 weeks of the 2023 season. You got 4 games left. You're currently sitting in the AFC playoff picture. Will the Steelers, with Mitch Trubisky as their quarterback, stick in the AFC playoff picture? We're going to be discussing that on today's show, but before we get into everything today, do me a favor, kick off today's show by clicking that thumbs up icon if you want Pittsburgh to get in this year's playoffs. So now let's start with the AFC playoff picture here, where the Pittsburgh Steelers currently rank number 6 in the AFC right now, but there's definitely a lot of teams in there that are in the hunt, right? So there's currently 6 teams at 7-6. All right, the Steelers are the cream of the crop there at number 6 overall, but you still got the Colts, who you're playing this week. You got the Texans. You've got the Broncos. You've got the Bengals, and of course you got the Buffalo Bills, who just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, all sitting at 7-6. All right, so it's definitely going to be a tough road for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make it to the playoffs. And the New York Times agrees with that. Right now, the New York Times has the percentage for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the playoffs at the lowest mark in the AFC North. That's lower than the Cincinnati Bengals, and they got Jake freaking Browning as their quarterback, all right? So after losing against the Cardinals and against the Patriots at home over the last 2 weeks, the New York Times really doesn't believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers, only giving them a 1-4 shot to make the playoffs. Now, the remaining schedule for the Pittsburgh Steelers looks like this. You got a road game against the Colts this week. That's going to be massive. You got a home game against the Bengals in Week 16. I think that game is also going to be a huge one. If you can win those 2 games, I think you're in pretty darn good shape. But then you also got the Seahawks and the Ravens on the road to finish the season. If you need to win both of those games to make the playoffs, I think that's going to be one tough task for Mike Tomlin's bunch here. So over these next 2 weeks, I definitely think the 7-6 Steelers need to kick it in gear, and they need to start winning football games again. And it really is this simple, guys. You got 4 games left. If you win 2 of them, you get to 9 wins, and you at least put yourself in position to win some tiebreakers and get into that 6th or 7th spot in the AFC playoff picture. However, if you win 3 out of these last 4 games, you get to 10-7, and if you can get to double-digit wins on the season, that means you're likely going to be a playoff team this year. So winning 3 out of these last 4 with not having Kenny Pickett for who knows how long, it's probably going to be difficult for the Steelers, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What will the Pittsburgh Steelers' final record be here in 2023? Let me know down there in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so coming up here in just a second, we're going to be going over our sponsor read. When we go over our sponsor read here, do me a favor and go down, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section, and let me know what you think the Steelers' record will be after Week 18. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Hexclad. Are you guys ready to rock your holiday cooking game this season? Look no further than Hexclad, the revolutionary cookware brand that's changing the way we cook during the most wonderful time of the year. Hexclad's innovative hybrid design combines the best of both worlds, giving you the ease of nonstick, the durability of cast iron, and the versatility of stainless steel. This means you can confidently crush your holiday feast without spending the rest of the week on dishes, and they make for fantastic gifts for the home chef in your life. To spread holiday cheer, Hexclad is giving our listeners 10% off your order with our exclusive link. Just go to hexclad.com/chatsports. Support our show and check them out at hexclad.com/chatsports for some seriously killer cookware. What's great about Hexclad is that all of their products have a lifetime warranty. These are literally the last set of pots and pans you will ever have to buy. So for all my cooks out there, Hexclad has to be at the top of your holiday wish list this year. And let me tell you guys, this is the only pan that I use. Cassie and I, we pan sear steak and chicken on this thing, 2-3 times, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. And my favorite thing about it, it never scratches and it's super easy to clean. So I can bring it into work and it looks like it came right out of the box every single time. This holiday season, give you or a loved one a gift that will actually last forever and change your cooking game for life. For a limited time only, our listeners get 10% off your order at hexclad.com hexclad.com/chatsports. Support our show and check them out at hexclad.com/chatsports. Don't let your cookware hold you back this holiday season. Happy cooking and happy holidays. So now looking ahead to this Saturday matchup here against the Indianapolis Colts, and I really think that this one's going to be crucial for the Steelers to end up making the playoffs here in 2023. Not only does the winner of this football game keep their spot in the AFC playoff picture heading into Week 16, but also they get a crucial tiebreaker if these two teams end up being tied at the end of the regular season. If you want to see my full breakdown, keys to victory, score prediction, all those different things, we have a preview for this game out there on the channel right now. I'm going to put the link in the comments and description of today's video so you guys can get yourselves ready for Saturday once you're done watching today's video. So the playoff odds here for the Pittsburgh Steelers are definitely dire. If you can get a win, okay, remember, the Steelers are currently sitting at 25% according to the New York Times. Well, the New York Times says that if you beat the Colts this week, your chances increase to almost a 50-50 shot, just under 50% at 47 there. But if you lose, your chances go down significantly, under 10% at just 7%. So if you lose this game, the season is essentially over. However, if you win, not only are you still in the AFC playoff picture, not only are you 1 week closer to getting Kenny Pickett back, but also you got about a 50-50 shot of making the NFL playoffs, and you're still very much alive. So this week is definitely a bona fide must-win game. I know last week we were talking about how the Patriots game felt like a must-win game. This one is actually a must-win game because if you don't come away with a win, your playoff chances are pretty much dead, and you don't want that if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So there's 4 things here that I think the Steelers need to do if they want to end up making the postseason. The first one is Trubisky's got to get his shit together here, man. Plain and simple. He needs to step it the fuck up because last week it was just not good enough, man. 60% completion percentage throughout this season so far. That is absolute dog water, especially considering the fact that he's barely throwing it 5 yards past the line of scrimmage in terms of air yards on every single pass attempt. All right, his yards per game, also terrible at 115.8. Not good whatsoever. And then also he has 3 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. But keep in mind, there was interception that was brought back against the Patriots, and there was also another one that was dropped by the Patriots last week. So that's more really like 5 interceptions on the season for Mitch. Needs to play better over the course of the next few weeks while Kenny Pickett is still out. As long as Trubisky is in the lineup, he needs to play better if the Steelers want to make the playoffs, plain and simply. Number 2 on my list here, the defense has to do its thing. Now, the defense has been turning the ball over at a very high clip all season long, and they need to continue to do so. Right now, the Steelers' defensive ranks are pretty good in some categories, and then, they're lower in other categories, all right? So something that surprised me a little bit is that they're only about league average in sacks. They're below average in yards per game, and they're below average in third down defense. But when it comes to the points per game, top 10. Red zone defense, top 10. They're keeping teams out of the end zone, and then also in turnovers, they're top 10. Another thing with the Steelers' defense is that they have a lot of turnovers in very timely moments in the red zone. In the second half, they're getting very timely turnovers, and they're scoring on turnovers as well so far this year. So that's really the bread and butter of the Steelers team, is that they stop teams in the red zone and they turn the ball over, and they need to continue to do that. I definitely think that the yards per game needs to continue to go down as the season wears on. And then number 3 on my list here is I think it's really important they get Kenny Pickett back. Now, whether that's by the Baltimore game, whether that's by the Seattle Seahawks game, whatever the case may be, I think you really want Kenny Pickett in there over Mitch Trubisky because at least you can trust Kenny to protect the football. Right now, if there's one thing that Kenny Pickett has actually done well for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's protect the football. Right now, just 1.9% of his throws have been intercepted. That's 4th among NFL starting quarterbacks with at least 75 pass attempts this season. That's a really, really good number for a guy like Kenny Pickett who has struggled to move the football, has struggled to score in the red zone, that's had some really, really poor play on tape this year. But if you can say anything about him is that he manages the game and he doesn't turn the ball over. So getting him back, allowing the defense to work and allowing the run game to do its thing without having to worry about turnovers could be paramount, especially when you're going up against a really good team like the Ravens on the road in the season finale. Then finally here, I think that you got to get Tomlin to work his magic here a little bit. I mean, you got your backup quarterback in there. Everything seems dim. You've just lost to the Cardinals and the Colts, respectively. There's players calling out the culture in the locker room at this point, saying guys feel entitled, saying guys are not doing the right things in the locker room, taking teams for granted, all these different things. But you know what? Mike Tomlin just seems to find a way to get these teams to 9-8. Some way, somehow, they always find a way to get to at least 500. And that's a testament to Mike Tomlin's character as a coach. That's a testament to his ability to get the most out of his teams. And something still tells me here, because remember last year, the Steelers were dead in the water. And then in the second half of the year, complete resurgence, and they come out and they somehow get to 9-8 with a complete tear in the second half of the season. So, you know, I think Mike Tomlin has shown in the past when everything seems dire and everything seems dim and everything seems like, there's holes in the boat and the water is rushing in, Mike Tomlin just seems to have a way with getting these teams to come back, to face adversity, and get this team to 9-8. So I think if anyone gets them to 9-8, it's going to be Mike Tomlin. Is it possible that they don't get there? Absolutely. This team is definitely sinking right now. But if there's anybody that can save this ship, I believe that man is Mike Tomlin. Now let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Will the streak end after 16 seasons for Mike Tomlin here in Pittsburgh? Will this year be Mike Tomlin's first losing season as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers here in year 17? Type yes or type no. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. That'll be it for today's show, Steelers fans. Thank you so much for sticking with me here to the very end. Make sure you click that subscribe button. We're going to be right here for our watch party Saturday afternoon. We got the biggest Steelers watch parties on YouTube here. It's 100% free to join our family here. Help us get to 40,000 subscribers by clicking that subscribe button right now.